Hello, hello, hello. It's Tammy, and I wanted to come on and do something with you guys for it's National Wear Pink Day. And then I decided with the Essential Stencil sale beginning tomorrow, well, at midnight, I really wanted to do a project with stencils that I know are in stock. I'm going to take a quick hot minute here and see if I can find us. Be so great. Yay, yay, right away. Hey, so when you pop on, say hello. Hello, Amy. First, I'm going to let everybody know that I'm planning on doing this whole thing, but I am single parenting for the next few days. So we're assuming Ryan's going to let me finish this. We're going to see. Okay. Oh, boy, I feel like I've been answering questions left and right since I got home. I posted a picture of a new version of what I'm calling the Woodland shirts. And this version, the deer I did use a stencil for, but all the trees, the birch trees and the tap trees were done free-handed. And the birch trees, I actually wanted to do, not the birch trees I've got down. The other ones, I actually learned how to do pine trees 2 different ways with 2 different brushes. And I wanted to try them on something, and that's what I did. So that's where I thought it would be fun if you had an option of how to do the trees freehand, because I know sometimes we don't have all the stencils. Now, the birch stencil I don't believe is in stock. That bear actually came from the Mama Papa Baby Bear, and that one is in stock, or was in stock when I looked. There are a couple other ways to do the woodland animals. One of them is, hang on, I'm going to reach in front of you, a stencil of the month stencil that has all these silhouettes on it. So the deer, the bear can work out. So I love promoting Essential Stencil. I think the sale that they're having is going to be phenomenal. I would highly suggest ordering early. If you go to the Essential Stencil page, you will notice that on some of them, as they're getting low on stock, it actually at the very bottom will say 94 left. I think that's what it was for the deer head that I'm going to be using in just a minute. And that might be something to help you decide which ones you need to get now and which ones you might want to wait till later. So that's that with that part. So I'm going to be showing you the deer and buffalo check set. It is a set I have used a ton. This is the buffalo check and the deer. So that's using the 2 together. This is just the deer head with some snowflakes. As is, this is going to crash. This is just the deer head with the snowflakes. I've done the deer head, and while it was still wet, sprinkled glitter on it. And that's a very, very fun effect. The buffalo check is awesome. I've been known to turn it this way. You can use it just as a border. You can use it as a background. This is probably one of my all-time favorite sets. And I've been wanting to do the deer head with a silhouette underneath it. I had done some projects a while back. I thought there was another bear besides the bear set. There was a woodland set that was 6 by 6s. It had a deer, had a bear, had a moose, an owl, a couple others. And it is out of stock. And I have already checked. I checked a while back with Essential Stencil, and it is not one they are planning on restocking this year. Now, that doesn't mean they won't restock it. It just means this year is not coming back in stock. So, couple things. It's one of the reasons I love to teach hand painting. I love my stencils. I really do. But if I can help you take a couple shapes, I'm going to give you an example. A deer. Let's look at this deer stencil. When we first look at it, we go, I can't draw that. But if you look at his body and think of it as an oval, and think of his head and neck as an elongated oval sitting on top that we then draw shapes off of, you can do it. You can. I know you can. Every one of you can do it. So that is one of the things why I like to be able to take something like those shirts that I showed you and do them with the stencils, then also do them with a hand-painted version. There's also, I have drawn many deer. So I can take a deer that may not be exactly like the Essential Stencil one, or the bear that may not be exactly like, and I can give you a tracer for it. Is it as easy as using a stencil? It's different. It's different. We won't say it's any harder or any easier, but it is different. There is a difference in hand painting and stenciling. There just is. All right, the trees. I know that the tree that was with the birch tree, I'm reaching, sorry guys, my studio's a mess. The one that was with the birch trees is called Pine and Birch, and it is currently out of stock. I do not know if it's being restocked. I do not know. Okay. However, these trees, which are part of All Is Calm 3-pack, could serve you very well in like the shirt I showed you, and they're going to serve me as I get ready to paint my deer. The other one that is a good set is the Believe Tag set. Has little trees in it too. I might have to grab that one as well, but we'll see. So we do the best we can. I try really, really hard. I really do try hard to check to see if my stencils are in stock before I plan a project. However, that doesn't mean I might not share something that I've done or created. I own a lot of stencils. I do. All right, so I'm looking at some comments real quick. The deer has always been a really, really good seller. I think I got my original deer and buffalo check 3 years ago. No. All right, so I had to play a little bit before I decided I was going to do this with you because I didn't quite know what I was going to do. But my idea, vague idea, was to kind of have some colors that blended in the background on my deer, and I'm just doing a deer head, and then add trees, and the lighter ones are going to look like they're further behind, and then as they get closer to the bottom, they get darker and more prominent. So that is what I want to do. So I went searching to see if I had something to do it on. I found a piece of reclaimed live edge wood. Does everybody have a piece of this? No. Do you have to have this? No. Could you do this on just a plain piece of pine? Yes. Could you go to Miller's Rustic Sawmill and order you a piece? Yes. Whenever I do something, it is just what I might have or what I think might look cool. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But that's okay. That's all part of the process. So this is the deer head, and I'm going to lay it down. Which way am I going to lay it? I'm going to lay it this way. And I'm going to put you down. You're going to be inside out, upside down, but I think you can understand. You know what I've been telling people? Turn your phone upside down. I loved it when there was this little thing I could press and it just automatically turned me upside down and you right side up. But you know what? Life changes and we just go with it. We go with it. So hey, I really do appreciate this. If you wouldn't mind, let me grab one more thing. Oh, I just saw another deer. Wait. A little different, but I mean, we could certainly use part of that deer. This is from the Christmas Mini 6 sign, and it was still available as of yesterday. So there's other options out there. But if you could cheer this on, that would be phenomenal. It would be awesome. And it is National Pink Day, but the National Flannel Day is over here. It was cold this morning, and it's gotten much warmer. All right, I'm putting you down. I'm going to do my best to watch for us on here. I'm setting these aside. Right there. All right. Got that. I watched Renee do her deer project from the other day, and she really had some really awesome tips that I'd kind of forgotten about. So I'm going to borrow some of those tips when we get going. So this is the deer head, and very often you can make these go either way. If I wanted him to look the other way, I could do that. Sometimes there's some stencils that really are better off the way they were designed to be. And that's always a good idea to just kind of look at that package when you get it. And I usually make a little mark on which way it was supposed to be the top. I don't always do that. Like I said, this was probably my original one. So I first wanted to get some colors behind here. And because this is really a pretty natural wood, first thing I had to do is realize that, not by much, but my stencil's a little wider on top than it is at the bottom. So this piece was definitely wider on top. And I think to make it look most symmetrical, I'm going to want to get the horns up high. Now, I technically could probably get the whole thing on, but I feel like it's going to look like he's running off the paper. So I'm going to pull him down, and if I don't do his whole body, that is okay. You know what I didn't grab was any tape, but I might be okay. I might have enough. So I need to do some variegated colors here. Excuse the extra bumps on him. So what I ended up using was, I had some whites and some grays, and I liked the idea of something like, this is bluegrass green, but it's a little bright. And I like mermaid tail, but again, it's a little bright. So that's where the grays came in for me. So I'm gonna get rid of this. That would be the I don't need. And when I played with this little guy, I just did it with a sponge, but I'm going to try to do this with a brush. If I need to grab a sponge, I will. So I need a plate. I probably need a clean plate, but we're going to deal with a not clean plate. You can laugh at me. It's okay. I am a hot mess. Oh, thank you for the sprinkle of the glitter. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so I'm going to give myself some gray. I've got white still. I've got a little bit of these bluish colors. The other color I grabbed was black green. I'm going to pebble puddle that. And a really dark blue. And this is deep midnight blue. I will tell you what, the colors that I'm going to end up creating are going to be uniquely to this piece because I'm going to be intermixing them. You can just do a nice variegated or ombre version of any color. Let me grab a stencil brush. I own a few. All right, I'm gonna grab this guy. Okay, that seems pretty good. Okay, I've got one. All right, so I know I wanted it to be lighter and get the color going in, and it probably won't match this at all, but I think what I'm gonna do is pick up some gray. I'm grabbing, oh, like, yay, I found a clean plate. I'm going to grab some gray. I'm going to grab a little of the lighter green. Maybe a little more. So it's kind of a really gray-green. I'm going to hold these down as I go. That was one of the tips I really appreciated being reminded of from Miss Renee, is when you have lots of little parts to a stencil, and while they aren't little, they like to lift because there's not a lot holding them together. It's always beneficial to go ahead and kind of hang on to parts of them, especially if they're going to pop up on you. Now I'm going to want to blend colors, so I'm going to have to move rather quickly. I'm going to go across. Need to think, how far down do I want? I'm going to have to stand up, I think. How far down do I want this to go? I don't know. Oops. I'm topsy-turvy here, guys. Hang tight. Well, there it is. I had something I needed to look at, and it slipped away from me. So I think I want this lighter color to go down at least past his antlers. Other tip that, again, from Miss Renee, when she had these really skinny lines like this, rather than swirling where they could lift up pretty easily, that's where she did a little more tapping. And I thought that was also a brilliant suggestion. and one that I know, but I tend to forget. Okay, I want to go all the way across. I'm still picking some up, that light grayish color. When I get near here, I'm going to pounce it. Okay, now I want to start bringing a little more color in. So I think I'll pick up that gray and a little bit of that blue, but maybe a little more of the blue. Maybe just a tiniest little bit. I don't think there's anything left there. Here's a little darker blue. Just a little bit. Maybe even just a touch of that brighter green. Come on, just a touch. Okay. Like I said, I should be working a little quicker than I am. I'm not sure that shows up as different enough, so let's make it a little darker. This is just my background, but I still want, there's another one of those little pieces. I still want it to have some variation. So I come down here with a little bit of this more blue, not as light. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this green is dried out, I think. Yeah. I'm going to pick up a little more of that blue and that green, and I'm mixing them. And I'm mixing them back in the colors that I had, so they should blend pretty well. Tap over this skinny little piece. And I think the majority of my dark is going to happen with my trees, but I still want to make sure I've got a good base. So I'm picking out a little more of that blue, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of the black green, which was here. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of the color we used. Swirl that. I'm going to go almost straight into the black green. I might even want black green and a tiny bit of black. Just at my very bottom. I'm going to work it back up in on there a little bit. Now, if there was an area, like right in there, that could really stand a little more of that color, I don't want to use this brush. It's good. There's going to be too much dark on there. I'm not going to be able to get it off. Even if I sit there with this for a long time, there's still a ton of paint in our brush, even though we're reloading to get more off. Okay. So I'm just going to grab another brush. And I know those were the grays and just a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the green. And even if, even if it's not absolutely the exact same color, I can still make sure I'm getting that in there. Maybe pick up a little lighter gray. I think that's a pretty good variation of sky. Let's take a peek. See what this looks like thus far. I'm going to remove it so you can see it. So, oh, we have a little spot we just made a smear of. I don't know where that came from, but let's find us a Q-tip and fix it. Looks like I had a little bit of paint somewhere. I didn't want it. We're okay now. So I'm going to lay this back down, but I do want to double check, especially in these skinny areas, that I don't have any paint that's gone on the back of it. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to think about how I want my trees to be. I said I want them to be lighter in the back, and I think I want them to be smaller. Let me get this back on here and tape back down. And I'm going to grab, what am I grabbing? The other tree set that I thought might work with this in the background, because those trees are smaller, and this is again from that 6x6 set, so they can be a little smaller and a little lighter. I'm going to use the lighter brush I had and really lighten it up with some gray. I want to be able to see them, but I don't want them to be too pronounced. And I think these should start about, we'll say about where his eyes would go. And I'm just gonna pick one of these trees. I'm not gonna worry that I don't have them all. Okay, I'm just gonna do part of this tree. I'm gonna pick it up. I can see that. Maybe another one in the distance. Maybe there's one that's a little darker that maybe it just overlaps it a bit. So I'll pick up the darker brush. That wasn't the brush. How does Tammy lose brushes? Don't answer that. Oops. That got very light. Okay, it's okay. We'll be mixing our colors. So I can see them, they're very faint, but that's kind of what I want. I want them to be just kind of in the background. But I do want one that's going to show up a little more prominently. I'm going to pick up some of the darker color. A little more of the darker color. And I still would like that to be darker. My goodness. That's okay. That's how we learn. Play, 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 play. I think this will show up a little better. So I can see that one's a little darker. Then I think I'm going to go ahead and switch to my bigger trees. And I said I was going to use the ones out of All Is Calm, All Is Bright. So I hope that you're seeing that I'm using just trees individually. So I don't have to worry that I'm not using all of them. And some of them are going to overlap. And some of them are not. So let's go ahead and go with a darker, go in the blue and the black green. I'm going to mix those up. I'm going to take them off by offloading. I'm going to make this tree. One of the things that again, I really thought Renee covered a lot of really good points the other day, is you actually would do better if this was right next to it, not on top of the deer. But because I'm just kind of moving these around, I feel like I kind of need to do it this way. If it's down below, you would have a little cleaner experience. Okay, I'm going to go a little darker. Do this one. And I think as long as I mix a variety of the dark colors, that they're not all the exact same color, I think it'll give it a cool effect. So that one you can really see. See, there's this little spot in between there that I think there should be a tree. But let's just say I couldn't find a tree that I liked to go there. There's nothing stopping me from grabbing a detail brush, and maybe this is where this was a stick tree in here. And you can make it as light as you need to by adding a little more water to it. So I'm just make this my stick tree that's just gonna fade into the background. I just picked up one of those darker colors to do that. Maybe there's one that I can just barely see part of it there. Maybe I can barely see a stick tree that pops up over here. So yeah, I am mixing a little, little hand painting in with this too. It's okay. I love deer for the holidays especially. I just think they're a holiday staple. And I'm letting some of my sticks come over my tree. This wood is a little tricky. It's really much rougher than I thought it was. I guess I should have paid attention to that. Then I think we're going to need another pine here. And because these are pretty dark, I think I can get by if I go almost black with one in between there. Now, do I want to use these or do I want to go back to a smaller tree? That is going to probably be the question that you have to answer for yourself. So I'm going to go into the black green and I'm going to pick up a little bit of black with it too. I'm going to offload it and I'm going to hope that this is my darkest tree. I'm going to peek. If I can't see it, I might add a little more black to that. It's a little hard to see. So I'm just adding black and taking it off. And there we have the deer head silhouette. So I've got these lighter trees in the background. And again, just like I did up here in the forefront, if I wanted to add just a couple of these stick trees back here, I'm picking up a little bit of the gray. I'm just going to pick up a little gray. I bet I could just pull a little gray here. A little more water in my paint. Maybe we'll grab a stick tree that kind of shows up. Oh, let's finish it. Whoops. You might just see little twigs. Maybe you see a couple lighter foreground pieces in your front. What do you think? You like it? I do. I like it. I think it's kind of rustic and kind of fun. I thought about maybe adding a little bit of shimmer to it, but I think this piece just deserves to be just that. Thank you for all those hearts. That's so awesome. So I want to cover this just real quick. So I love Essential Stencils. I want you to go and shop this sale and get what you can and what you need. And if you want to save an additional 10%, you can use Cheers, C-H-E-E-R-S, at checkout. It's very nice that they let you use an ambassador code on top of this 35% off sale. So go in and maybe peruse it a little bit tonight before they lock it down. Remember, you have to have the secret word. The secret word is secret. They'll ask you for that before you can even go shopping into the site. That is how they're kind of keeping it a little more exclusive and a little more VIP-ish, just for you. Then once you're there, put the things in your cart, and then when you check out, if you'd like to save an additional 10%, use Cheers. Like I said, as before I came on, the deer head with the buffalo check was in stock. The trees that were part of All Is Calm are in stock or were in stock. But I want you to know that you could use almost any tree. I ended up pulling real quickly the tree from the set that I know is 3-4 years old, the Christmas mini set. So just sometimes it's just a matter of looking for that element in another place. So I appreciate the spreading very much. I'm not one that mentions the stars things very often because I forget about it. But if that's how it keeps me in supplies to do more lives for you. So I appreciate that very much. All right. So it was National Wear Pink Day. Of course, that is in honor of breast cancer awareness, and I am a survivor, and I very much love to celebrate those days. And I was going to paint us a little sign, and this is just actually one that I'd gotten from the Dollar Tree last year. I'm probably just going to paint it pink, and then on her witch's broom, I'm probably just going to write, in October, we wear pink. And I do. Even cheers turn pink in October. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I'm going to see what I can do for tomorrow. This was supposed to be tomorrow's, but I really thought if you wanted to have an opportunity to possibly grab some tree stencils, definitely one of my favorites. I did not check, but there is a set of 3 different size buffalo checks that are smaller. They're more this size. That is another great set for a lot of backgrounds. I was asked the other day, when you can look at the site now. You can't order until midnight. I don't know when they're going to lock it down. I guess they'll lock it down after 10. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a little person in Essential Stencil. But go and just take a peek at what you want, what you need, and maybe even think about if you have any crafty friends that might make maybe a tag set might be a cute stocking stuffer. I know I'll be picking up some so I can send you some more. I think I've gone through almost all of my set. Oh, I just saw it, but I have a really good set up there. I might have to do a giveaway tomorrow. I might just have to. I use the trees a ton. You've seen me use them at different times of the year. So that fir tree is kind of fun. But I would love to help you learn how to do them too. And so I said I'm going to get the class up and scheduled for November 1st. I won't get that up until tomorrow. I'm a much better co-parent than I am a single parent. So after this, I'm going to need to go make dinner, and then I'll get to clean up dinner, and I will want to spend some time with my wonderful son. And when he goes to his program tomorrow, I'll be able to come down and clean up first and then play. Have a great evening. I don't know if we have an Essential Stencil. Tonight is Thursday. I'm not sure if it was today or if it was tonight. So enjoyed spending some time with you. When is the sleigh bell class? It was supposed to be this week, and it had to be rescheduled. I had to end up going in real quickly and have some tests done. So that was supposed to be Wednesday, and I ended up having to do a little something. So I will get that rescheduled tomorrow as well. Just have to look at the calendar, and it's kind of in a blur. So there is our deer head with the trees in it. And I don't know, I think it's cute. I'd put it in my house. I'm not a hunter, but I like deer. Okay, let me see. So I'll let you know, Nikki, as soon as I know when the class is rescheduled for, okay? Thank you guys so much. Until I see you again, continue to be kind. Our world needs kindness. Be safe. Cheers. Night all. Bye-bye.